great deal of webs cling to everything, and corpses of orcs can be seen amongst the webs.
That is a face of pure panic. You're me. You're a guest on another channel's actual play. More than that, actually, you're a representative of the company that publishes the game that they're playing. You were almost late to the call time because you didn't charge your laptop that has your character sheet on it, and you were too lazy to transfer your character sheet to your desktop, and you can't charge your laptop in your streaming space, so you're trying to keep your laptop charged for as long as possible, and you just finished a virtual therapy session minutes ago, literally minutes ago, so your brain kind of feels like it just got that type of massage that actually just beats the shit out of you, and basically you're opening your laptop as the game master is introducing the session and describing your surroundings, and you see that your character sheet is gone.
A spider the size of a cottage hangs from the ceiling above.
So you spend the next 15 minutes in denial, frantically searching your laptop for your character sheet because you know that combat is literally imminent, like the very first thing that happens in the session, and it's not there. And you realize that this is a bad look as a guest and a representative of a company on another person's stream, and so you literally just have to roll up and equip your 3rd level character again on the spot.
Grenna is going to walk up, not like super close, but just a couple more feet just to be a little bit ahead of the group. Is our flooring stable, or do we have to be very careful?
As you step out past Vhagar, Grenna, the floor is soft but firm enough to hold your weight. I would liken it to maybe a very stiff trampoline.
Okay. She's gonna crouch and like get on her knees in like a reverence pose, and she's going to take her sword out from its hilt and hold it and then just place it in front of her.
Okay.
And it only takes you this long. Castles and Crusades. It's made for idiots like me.
I'm so sorry.
Great deal.
Well, hello. I didn't see you there. I was too busy thinking about the Reforged Adventurers spellbook. Hey, Wiley! 13 months! Over a year old. Hello, how are you? It's good to see you. The early crew came in force today. Mox Owl, Agile Monk, Stronghold D&D, Tib, thanks for coming in. The Lord Dark, welcome in. And Tabletop Junkie, good to see you, buddy. How's it going? How are we ding dang doing? I feel like we've been like spoiled with Aihrde content this week is what it feels like. So it's a very good week in the Troll Dens. You're here, good to see you. Good to see you too, friend. It's been a while. I know. Getting over being sick. I feel ya. I feel like so we've had like snow and cold and like freezing for a good few weeks, and then today is kind of our first warm day, and it's looking like it's going to be in the 40s pretty much from here on out. And I think it's like the sudden increase in temperature, it's got me feeling like weird. I'm like super congested today. I was almost like, should I not read? Because there's things happening in my sinuses that I don't think I'm responsible for. I don't think it's my fault. There's so much snow melt right now. Jeremy, how you doing? I've heard a little bit of the madness. The NDA related madness. I've heard a little bit about it. How's your brain? Trying to get some Gaslight Crusade stuff going for the new year. Yes! Dude, I saw your message. If I had the availability and I would be joining. It's very, very exciting. Hey Fosco, how's it going? Good to see you. Fine, yeah. Good. To avoid talking around this up, Castle Zagig stuff is happening. I think I can talk about this part because Steve posted about it online. It's insane is the thing. Gary's writing is insane. We all knew that. Just the level of detail in everything is crazy, and it's taking a long time to like go through all of the material in Castle Zagig and like make sure that it's, you know, Castles and Crusades as it is today and not as it was 26 years ago. It's been a busy day. I kind of feel like my brain is melted. How are you all? How is everything? I spent a big chunk of the day editing the newest Aihrde expansion. So the Northern Wastes is coming to the store very, very soon, hopefully. And I gotta say, it's a really good one. The Northern Wastes were home to the tower of Trigal the Mage after the Winter Dark. So after Unklar had been like summoned to Aihrde, Trigal was like his servant in Aufstrag for a while because Trigal thought that he was gonna like bend Unklar, this summoned aberration from the void, to his will, and Unklar showed up with the old Uno reverse card, and Trigal was the one serving him in Aufstrag, but eventually earned his like pseudo freedom, like moved up in the ranks. He's a clever guy, and got himself a tower in the Northern Wastes. And there it sits still, and there's a big dungeon there, and that's all I'll say about it. But a little teaser bit of information, there's a really big dungeon in the Northern Wastes, and it's very exciting. I think that is everyone who has sinuses. Can we all just like get rid of our sinuses? What's the worst that could happen? What would happen? What would happen? Do we need them? Do we really need them? I think they're a little too much trouble than they're worth. For those of you who are elderly, imagine 10 Temple of Elemental Evils stacked on top of one another, needing to be reformatted, reordered, and clarified with new trade dress and rules adjustments. Sounds about right. That sounds about right. So, man, I feel like I've got little to report to you guys this week. What have you guys been up to? I've been slowly thinking about a streamed game for the new year. I've been slowly thinking about it. I want to invite our Summer of Siege GMs back for another like all GM game. But the game that I want to run, I don't know if it would behoove the adventure to have a really large party. So I'm thinking about it, and then forgetting about it, and then thinking about it some more. Maybe a large party would be really fun. Maybe that would rule. Maybe that would be pretty cool. So will it stream slowly too? But it's the Blen Colgo adventure. The Butcher of Blen Colgo. I think that would be a fun one to play through. Those of you who were in here months ago when I described that adventure, no spoilers to Wiley Hobbit and Tabletop Junkie and the other GMs that are in here, but no spoilers. So maybe in the new year. But also in the new year on Tuesdays, I'm going to be joining Guild Superior for a game for a few weeks. So that's going to be pretty cool. Everyone's making big plans for 2026. It's nice to see. We just announced the Mega Dungeon month. God, I feel like I've got so little about my own life to like share, but a million things happened this week. That's why I can't think of anything. Oh yeah, the butcher lifts across from the baker and the candlestick maker, just down from Drury Lane, and they couldn't put him back, and he fell, and then they couldn't put him back together, and then he went into the forest and found a witch who trapped him and tried to feed him a lot of things, and then he was put in an oven, and then it's okay. The bit gets funnier the longer I drag it out. And then he wore a red cape when he and then he met a wolf, and I'm gonna just let that trail off. Dave does a great job with his games. Agreed. Yeah, very, very impressed. I joined them for like a Shadow Dark game a while ago, like a one-shot. That was awesome. I somehow caused the most trouble for absolutely everyone in the party, but didn't die. I saw your YouTube short today about losing your character sheet. Hey! Brad, welcome in. Good to see you. And thank you. I actually just played that right at the beginning of the stream. Same brain cell. Thank you. God, that was like... You know, it like I find it a little bit stressful to be like joining a new table on a good day when I'm like super prepared and I've got everything that I need, like character sheet wise, and you know I'm prepared for the game. But then to like show up and then all of a sudden there's it's just like unprofessional. Like, hey, I'm just gonna be on my computer for a sustained amount of time while your regular cast interacts and is engaging. I'm just gonna be over here. It's like, oh my god. But those guys are great. That was over at Stronghold D&D. That's another really, really, really great channel. But we got Mega Dungeon month coming up in April. We're very excited. We just had a meeting with some of the folks from Backer Kit and some of the other like participating companies today, and we learned a little bit about what's gonna be like going on. There is stuff to share, but I think I should probably share it with like Steve first before talking about it on the internet. But long story short, if you are a creator of stuff, then there may be ways for you to also participate in Mega Dungeon month. If you have a project of your own that you'd like to crowdfund. The way y'all put a space between Mega and Dungeon stresses me the fuck out. Listen, take it up with the boss. If you want to go up to Joseph Goodman and say, hey, I've got a problem with your logo, be my guest. I'm trying to make a good impression. And that means withholding opinions. People love it when you do that. It didn't occur to me that Mega Dungeon should be one word. Should it? I'm gonna Google it. It kind of looks better. It looks better written out as one word. I would agree. I'll argue with Joe. I don't give a fuck. I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be really cool. There's 9, I think, somewhere between 9 and 12 like participating companies. And then in April, we're all going to launch simultaneously with crowdfunding campaigns that feature dungeons. And I think like if you participate in like different crowdfunding campaigns, then you get like exclusive rewards for supporting multiple or specific crowdfunding campaigns together. Hey Taco, 3-stream streak. Thanks for coming back, buddy. That's like 20 years of dungeons. The real trick is like finding the time exactly to like play through any and all of these dungeons because they're going to be insane. Goodman Games is Castle White Rock, which seems daunting to me, which makes me want to immediately dive in. If the month is mega as opposed to the dungeons, the space is proper. Hey, there we have it. Thank you, Eater of Worlds. Won't that be in the way of each other? No, because, I don't know. Well, like, first of all, I think that, like, it's kind of just a collaborative thing in general that, like, we're all doing together. Like, kind of part of the point is to, like, uplift each other. And I don't know, there will be, like, cool rewards for, like, supporting everyone or, like, multiple companies and stuff like that. So, pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty excellent. A rising tide lifts all boats. Exactly. I just really appreciate that about the community. Like, it seems like the kind of thing where everyone's just, like, really eager to, like, talk about each other's projects and, like, sell other people on the products made by other companies and stuff. I know that I feel that way. It seems like that sentiment is kind of returned by, like, at least everyone involved in this project. It's really nice. Everyone's just been, like, so supportive. It's amazing how many boats this community has. Exactly. Lots of lifting. We're all getting strong. Every day is arm day when you're in the tabletop world, baby. Yeah, that's just a tabletop thing. Hey, Nuriachi, welcome in. Here's the thing. If you're asking your consumers to shell out hundreds of dollars, hopefully not. I mean, I don't know what the price range is going to be, like, across all the different backer kit campaigns. I think there will be stuff that's, like, less expensive. There will probably be stuff that's more expensive. I'm sure, like, Castle Zagig. Actually, I don't know where we're going to be, like, on that scale. You're going to get a lot of stuff. That much I can say. I don't know what the pricing is going to be like, but you're going to get a lot of stuff, that's for sure. I have an idea for a dungeon. Do you? Here's the thing. Last week, we did not read. So I feel like this week, we should get started and, like, jump on it. Mostly because my brain is mush. And I feel like I've been running around all day. So why not escape into Aihrde and read about a fantasy land where so far in the second oration, the second Rin of the world, everything is mostly fine, depending on who you are. We talked about the Avorgan, also known as the Will Eloth, also known as Ents, and also known as, like, tree people, and Ineng, and the first of the trolls. We read about the gods and the Allfather, and the Airtout, the first great tree, the only great tree. What would you do if you saw an aggressive chimpanzee armed with a pot of boiling milk? I would obviously expose my skull. Obviously. There's only one right answer. Or I would grab the nearest exposed skull. I could really use a little bit of boiling milk to the exposed skull. at this precise moment in time. You ever just feel like there's a fog over your brain? I'm going to read. Thank you all for being here. So last we left off, we had talked about the dwarves and the arrival of the dwarves to Aihrde, and how the Allfather broke his hammer creating them, getting super, super mad, creating a bunch of like races and species that just weren't quite right, including the humans and the gnomes and the not the dragons, the giants and all sorts of other stuff. And then eventually breaking his hammer, which shattered into the ground below, turning into Earguild metal, which is one of the, to this day, to present day in Aihrde, regarded as the most precious metal in the world. And then shaping with his own hands the dwarves. And so the dwarves have come to Aihrde, and they are people who feel that they owe a debt of life to the Allfather for their creation, and so they call this the Andanuth, the debt of life. And that's pretty much like where we're at. The dwarves were made, and now we're gonna see what they do. Just got my CNC 2 NPC and Gods and Legends books yesterday. Let's go, dude! I love the NPC almanacs. Wait, shit. Fuck. In prepping for my next CNC game on Friday. That's what we like to hear. Very exciting. All we ever talk about is the goddamn Allfather and the dwarves. Well, hey, we can go back to gnomes again. Why don't we talk about gnomes again? Why don't we do a rematch on gnomes, Jeremy? Nick is pumping the air with his fist. Let's do a quick romp. Nick said, why I oughta. I'm right. You're welcome to believe that. My mom broke a few spoons and hammers on me as a kid. Spoons? Not metal spoons. Wooden spoons. You probably mean wooden spoons, not metal spoons. Breaking metal spoons on your child?
Even still, any sort of breaking anything on your child.
Don't break anything on your kids, you guys. Unless it's records for how many kisses can be applied to the forehead of a being within a certain amount of time. That's something that you can break on your child. Y'all are too cowardly to admit it. The people hated me because of my message. That's, you know how Jesus felt. They hated Jesus because he spoke the truth. Back at to take off for a minute, but came back in to see more TLG stuff. Let's go. How's it going? Hey, Kev, how's it going? Good to see you. Wooden spoons. Okay. Holy shit. Agile, thank you so much. Whoa, dude, that's crazy. And it's not even an ends meet night, so I don't even have a reroll to give out. Thank you so much, man. Really, really appreciate that. That's huge. We goes a really long way to support the channel, so we all really appreciate it. Thank you. And I hope that you're having a lovely, lovely evening yourself, Agile. Please read. We need. Okay, I know. I will. I promise. Wooden spoon, the bane of the Italian American grandson. Second session with all new players, 3 of them were literally racing to the various FLGS to fight over the last player's handbook in stock. Dude, you rock. We need more ambassadors like you. We appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna read. The subs have been gifted for reading, so we're gonna read. Grab yourself a beverage. Let's hear some more about dwarves. We haven't heard enough about the dwarves yet. So we're gonna see what the dwarves did. They've been made, so now they've got to make it. Wait, first, would you rather eat a bowl of microplastics every day or stub your toe randomly once every day? I choose both. I already basically do both. Isn't it like you have enough the people alive today have enough microplastics in their brains to make like a plastic spoon? Like I have a plastic spoon's worth of microplastics in my brain. Is that real? Have you heard this? We have we have microplastic in our brain, right? Walk with me. Yeah, you and I. There's enough microplastics to make a spoon, a plastic spoon.
Might be more in our case.
Nick said there might be more in our case. So, yeah. Jeremy asked, would you rather eat a bowl of microplastics every day or stub your toe randomly each day?
I'm way ahead of you.
That's what I said. I said both.
Already factored into my schedule.
Yeah.
I'm on that Sigma grind set.
Nick said we're on that Sigma grind set. It's been accounted for. We've separated our 24-hour day into 4 days. We're manipulating time. We're leaving y'all in the dust. You're toast.
Separated my frontal lobe from the rest of my
Every day, I eat a plastic spoon. You're toast.
Go straight to the source.
You're in the dust. Go straight to the source. Without any milk. Are they flavored microplastics or plastic flavored? All right. No, you're good. No, I brought you into this conversation. You guys let me know if you can't hear Nick, because I think that my microphone is like... it's having stuff. Anyway, we're going to read. Agile gave us subs to read. We're going to read. It's funnier that he sounds distant, so they can still hear you. That's good.
They can hear me.
Yeah. Do you have any last words for us before we begin to read? Let's read. Trollsah. When the breath of the Allfather came to the dwarves and gave them life, some of it passed over them and carried down the great forge of his desire, and settled in pools upon the discarded creations of his earlier efforts and brought life to them. These creatures stood alone and apart from the Allfather, though they heard and saw the dwarves on high. But they had been set aside, and were, in the first of their lives, lost. In this they garnered the love of many of the gods, for they felt the weight of his rejection, both the good and the bad, from the dawn of the days before days, and they felt a kinship with these the Allfather cast off. And ever they sought after to guide them, teach them how the world might unfold for them, and where its riches and treasures lie. In this way, the giants came to be, and they followed whatever path they would, and the men split into many tribes and moved hither and anon across the world. We don't say hither and anon enough. The gnomes, least of all these people in stature and numbers, wandered alone into the wilderness, even before Hrothgar spoke to the Allfather. Interesting, nice quality to the gnomes. They had the courage to venture out into the wider world of Aihrde, even before they saw a plot happening at the Allfather's forge. Hrothgar, if you guys will remember, was the first dwarf, like the first king of, the first dwarven leader, basically. I don't know if they called him a king, but I think he was a king. But he was the one who spoke up to the Allfather and said, "Hey, what do you want from us?" And the Allfather had no words for him, but turned back to his forge and started making more stuff. And so Hrothgar was like, "That's it. We have to make stuff." He was the first dwarf in charge, exactly. So the gnomes said TLDR and went off into the world. I think that's cool. These 4 peoples, giants, humans, gnomes, dwarves, the sages account the foul Aihrde, the people of the Allfather, though they were not the last. For the most part, the dwarves shunned the guidance of the gods, though in later days they had dealings with them. They treated with Corthane, for in him they saw the purpose and will of the Allfather. Mordias they came to love in their own fashion, for she spent herself in the act of creation, and they marveled at the grasses, manifold plants, and trees whose making she had a hand in. Other gods they paid little heed to. In their early explorations, they spent a great deal of time with Orndul, for in him they learned of dark places and how to see where there was no light. They loved the cool under the earth and the caves, for there they were closest to the maelstrom and creation. Under the earth was his domain, and he treated with the dwarves in those early days, though he never spoke to them of his secrets, not the catacombs, nor of the gems, nor gold, nor aught else that he valued. But of the Val Ericune that came before them, they loved none as the Allfather. The arc of time spun on as the Allfather took measure of the dwarves. When at last he took stock of them, he saw in them the knowledge of the debt owed, and he decided that he loved them greatest of all. And so he scattered them across the plains and mountains to see what they would do and how they might pay their debt. The dwarves were different from all Aird's other creations. Reminder, Aihrde and Allfather are the same. So if it's not confusing enough, Aihrde is the name of the world and is also another name of the Allfather, Aihrde. The dwarves were different from all Aird's other creations, for they did not know his mind, and they sought to shape the world for themselves. The dwarves traveled everywhere, into the forests, across the seas, atop mountains and hills, and beneath as well. They did not propagate quickly like the trees, but slowly like the dragons, and they built things. They could not master the language of creation, but they used pieces of it in their labors. Indeed, they were the last, but for a few, who ever used the language. Unlike any of his other creations, the dwarves surprised the Allfather in their desire to fashion things from the world. This bemused him for a great while, and he watched them build homes from wood and stone. He watched as they entered the cavernous worlds beneath the mountains to make halls, and marveled when they fashioned boats to cross the open waters, an idea that never occurred to the Allfather. He saw them as different from all his other makings, for he saw in them desires not his own, wonders that he had not placed within them. This proved true of the dwarves, gnomes, humans, and giants, for they all shaped the world of their own accord, and in the days before days, stood free of the machinations of higher governance. We should all be so lucky. The dwarves became plentiful, and in those days occupied the whole of the world, but for the skies. They crossed the mountains and hills, forded rivers and streams, came to know the plains, the riverlands, swamps, tundra, and all else besides. They built homes of sod and wood, and learned the fashioning of tools. This age lasted a great while, as the dwarves came to know the world, and they remember it fondly in tales of long ago. Woof, woof, come here. You have stuff to say about the dwarves? Someone's got really big feelings about the dwarves, you guys. He's got some very important stuff to say. Are you embarrassed? No, be proud. You were saying stuff. Can you say it to the class? You say woof woof. Now he's bashful. Now he doesn't want to talk. Now he's all embarrassed.
Everybody said don't be bashful.
Oh. It came to pass that the Allfather came to the dwarves, seeking to guide them and help them master the forge. In those days, the largest host of dwarves dwelt in camps along the rim of the western mountains. They lived wild and free, in small groups or large as befit them. Some were only beginning to wander into the east and north and south, plying the world's corners with their journeys. These missed the wisdom of the Allfather, for even those who heard his voice in the distance chose not to return, seeking, rather, their own paths. The Allfather set to teach the dwarves the language of creation. For a great while he attempted, but he failed, for the minds of the dwarves were like tablets, and though they could remember them, the subtle power of the words was lost on them. Trouble always looks so put together. I just gave him a bath yesterday. He's feeling handsome. I tried to blow dry him, make him all poofy. He was losing his patience a little bit by the end of that, but he was very good for most of it. The arc of time weighed heavy upon the dwarves, so that they marked the length of their lives in years. They were the first to do so. Unless harm befell them, the greater part of the dwarves lived 4 or 5 centuries, though the strong-willed lived much longer than that. When their bodies played out and died, the breath of life broke free of the body, and the flesh returned to stone. The breath of life, freed from its physical form, wandered listless in the world, without house or home. Eventually, the spirits of the dead Eventually, the spirits of the departed drifted upon the arc of time and followed it through the maelstrom, where the arc pooled at the edge of all. Here, the breath of life lingered in the dark pools of spent creation, neither living nor utterly unmade. The maelstrom threatened to devour them, such that their souls might be utterly lost to the world. Seeing this, the Allfather was not pleased. So he took the homeless souls and rose above the maelstrom and looked out into the great empty. There he cast a thought upon the void and made a place for the breath to dwell, a land of mist where matter assumed the form of the breath's desire. There he set the breath, the souls, to dwell, until the Gonfod should come. The breath of life of the dwarven dead dwelt in the space the Allfather created, and made of it a field of their own liking. In time, more dwarves died, and they too rose and took the path laid out for the noble dead to the plain of mist, there to mingle with their fallen kinsmen, to build their own dreaming. Soon, the souls of departed dwarves peopled the plain, and it took the shape of their will, from the echo of their lives on Aihrde, with high mountains, green fields, and blue skies. Pillars of stone rose to honor their memories, and to help them remember what and who they had been. And these pillars dotted the landscape. Thus, these fields earned their name, the Stone Fields, and there the dead came to dwell. The Allfather bid Toth, who dwelt upon the arc of time from its beginning to its end, to marshal all the breath of life together and to guide them to the Stone Fields. And so, Toth became the keeper of the dead, and this task fell to him as he knew that it would, for in him lay all the wisdom of the Allfather, gained during his creation in the long ago days before days. If you don't remember, Toth is the shadow of the Allfather, and potentially, aside from arguably Inzea, the Allfather's only or the closest thing that there is to an equal of the Allfather. He did not gather only the souls of the dwarves, but man and giant too, and in later years, all the others who departed. Of the Val Ericune he found those who might aid him in his task, and of them all, appointed Heth as a guide for the dead. Hey, Noriochi, thanks for the sub, man. We really appreciate it. It goes a super long way to help us, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate that. And for, telling all your buddies about CNC. But Toth could see that some of the dead were not deserving of the Stone Fields, and these he abandoned, and left them to walk upon the arc of time where they might enter the empty pools and spend their days until the gonfod in lonely dejection. Others became lost for their evil deeds, doomed to wander the Rimfelt, or be consumed in the Gaggle mesh, or to linger on the edge of all. Even the oh, of course, dude. Yeah, it all helps. We really appreciate it. It's not cheap at all. It helps us still the same. It is known that the arc of time served as a road for all things that left the living world. Drifting beyond the Allfather's creations, the listless dead, those not deemed fit for the stone fields, followed the arc until its end. The switch between Grace's reading voice and Hey Thanks voice is funny. What if I, but Orndul knew of the endless pools.
Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, well, thanks for the sub. We really appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Anyway. They were those who misspent their lives in evil thoughts or deeds. There they gathered, riding upon or devoured by the endless pools, where time began and where the arc of it played out, gathering at the bottom of creation in an impenetrable darkness. But Orndul knew of the endless pools, and long coveted their cloaking shadows. He saw the listless dead of dwarf, man, gnome, and giant gathering there, beyond all hope or aid. Here was the moat in the eye of Aihrde, and here Orndul set to building his house. He hollowed out a great cavity in the void and divided it into 5 pools. He harnessed some small portion of the river of the arc of time and bent it, so that it flowed away from the endless pools, and gathered in the hollow places he dug. He bewitched the arc itself, so that many of the Val Ericune who were weak and evil drifted from it, and followed his own path, the Rimfelt, to its end. He gathered the dead who drifted toward him, and bound them to him as slaves to serve him in the 5 pools. I vote for that voice. Either that or please use that voice for your next Monday Night character. Here's the thing. Help Steve kill Ren. If Ren dies, I've warned everyone that my next character is going to be insufferable. Here's the thing. If any of you have read Blood and Briar from the Crusader 29, I kind of want to pull in Bloodgood Tuttle. And I kind of think that that voice is perfect for a shitty little halfling bard who's balding and crazy and very charismatic despite himself. So let's kill Ren, get her out of here. Bloodgood Tuttle is in. During all these machinations, he discovered other creatures who lingered in the endless pools, fearful of the world or the wrath of the Allfather. These creatures had names of their own design. Oh, sorry. I didn't understand the sentence really. Okay. These creatures had names of their own design. They named themselves, even as he. The Aru, Succubus, Volcreed, Kull, and the Siri and others besides. Oh yeah, the ancient evil Siri. It was foretold. Some he bound to him, though others would not have it so. But he brought them all to the 5 pools. In that time, Orndul ordered the making of his house far from the eyes of all others. To do so, he gathered the listless dead and forced them to labor upon a castle. He dug a deep chasm that opened a rift into the maelstrom, so that any who fell through plummeted into that cauldron and were there unmade. He set a bridge across the chasm and built a great barbican on the far side. In the barbican he set a portcullis made of the iron of his will. There he constructed a great wall that extended the length of the chasm for distances beyond the understanding of time. Come on, man. Here's the thing. Arndul, chill. Can we chill? First, a plummeting chasm, the depths of which will unmake the souls of those who fall within. Then a portcullis made of the iron of his will. And then a chasm that distances beyond time. Can we just have a castle? Can you just have a castle? And just have it, like, just... It's chill. It's a castle. It's impressive enough. Like, you don't need... Is it small? Is that what... Okay, I'm just gonna... No gate guarded the house itself, for Orndul was always vain and did not believe any could pass his iron will. The homeless house, as vast as it was, proved only a small moment in the vast inky blackness of the endless pools. About this time, Toth took note that the Ark of Time was bewitched, and that he knew not where one of the streams went. He moved to gather it back into the fold, for his task was to govern time and all that rode the Ark. But this brought him into conflict with Orndul, and the red god chafed under the eye of the shadow. Orndul immersed himself in his hallowed cavity and wrapped himself in time. Thus armed, he came to Toth to converse with his tormentor. I missed something called the Ark of Time. No big deal. It's just time, fate, destiny. I would my constructs be my own, without the eyes of the shadow of my father upon them. It is not mine to decide what I see and know, for I am the shadow of all things that are of the Allfather, and all things are of the Allfather. I am that shadow, until the Gonfod, the end of days. The Gonfod is only a rumor. He would not unmake all that he loved. The Allfather has given of himself to make all things. With every act of creation he is made lesser than he was before, though far greater than all we have or can ever have. But all that he gives passes down the Ark of Time to gather here in the endless pools. When the last of the Allfather passes the Ark to gather into the pools, the river of thought shall end, and all that is shall end with it. These things are the Gonfod, the end of days. Orndul looked upon Toth, and time played out around him, seeping into the endless pools. It shall not be so, for I shall not permit it. I have seen Aihrde's weakness, for it is I and I alone who dared to challenge him in the beginning, and in his wound I saw the power of our own direction. You may not stop the Gonfod, for it is the Allfather who designed it. No, I too am of the Allfather's making, and I alone was given the will to survive without his sufferance. I have made my own pool, and this I shall govern until I am unmade by him. A shroud of confusion lays upon your house, and the waters of time that flow around it. But you have no claim upon even that time, for it too, though hidden from my gaze, is a river of his thought. You are mistaken, Toth, for you do not know the mind of the Allfather. You are but a shadow of what is to come, and what might have been, and shadows are but poor mirrors of their masters. I am the hidden thought of Aihrde. In me lies his true desire, and the end of times is not what he seeks, nor has ever sought. I am the dam to the river of time. I shall stop its flow, and the end of days will not come to pass. The Gonfod is a dream. And Toth grew doubtful, for he was the mirror of the Allfather, and knew that in all things the Allfather created lay his thought. And in Orndul lay Aird's hidden desires. And of all things the Allfather knew, Toth also knew, but for two. And one was the mind of Orndul. Toth then foretold that Corthane and many others would attempt to stop Orndul in his bid to maintain the world, and that Corthane would unleash the fortress of Aiul, the Vesk, that lies at the beginning, and sail the Arc of Time to confront his brother. There, the brothers would wage war against one another at the end of time. Orndul saw that it was true, and he took counsel with himself. For his part, Toth failed to control the strand of the Ark governed by the Red God, and he saw it as the fate set by the Allfather. And Orndul was able to finish the homeless house in quiet. The house served Orndul as a fortress for many ages. There he built his armaments, crafted sorcery, made beasts of wild abandon, guided his servants, tortured his enemies, and devoured any that he snared upon the Ark, forcing them to serve his will. Hey, Tux. He began to build an army, gathering all those of foul disposition and evil intent about him, arming them or cloaking them in sorcery. And it is known that the homeless house became a bastion, ever filling with an army of great size, meant for the days of the Gonfod, when time should end. Thus it was that one branch of the Arc of Time ended in a nightmare, the Gilgamesh. Orndul poisoned the Gilgamesh with his greed, and the poison spread until the pool became a place of wretched madness. The homeless house served as a center for the madness that men later called the Wretched Plains, a madness that attracted creatures both bent and foul. Around Orndul, the plains became a madhouse. I was so close to saying a mad horse. Madhouse makes more sense, though there might be mad horses in hell. I don't know. A madhouse where thoughts took shape, and the listless dead wandered in a state of confusion, if not suffering. What had been an afterlife of quiet, dark, and mindless waiting became for the accursed a torment, for many evil souls found themselves bound to the will of the Red God. I wonder if Grace can outlore Steve at this point. I keep wondering. I don't think I could right now. Steve is currently writing the Aihrde expansions, and so I feel like it's all fresh in his head right now. But I have thought about doing like a trivia game. Corthane the All-Tyrant, destroying all free will since the beginning of the River Time. That's the thing. I like it. I really like the Corthane versus Orndul argument in Aihrde. What Orndul wants is to save the world. That sounds great. I would love for the world to not end. But then, Corthane's like, no. The Gonfod was determined. It must come to pass. Whose side you picking? I don't know. As Orndul harvested darkness in the caves of the world, Corthane settled in the fortress of Aiul. Mordius built gardens of wondrous beauty, and Aelor settled into the deep waters, When first he entered the world, he wandered far and wide, always in a watchful quiet. But at last, he came to a cliff that overlooked a deep ocean. He looked into the waters and was amazed. They stood still and lifeless, but they were deep and full of promise. None had yet braved the water, for the Allfather himself labored in the dark upon the land, and all those who followed him were near to him. But Aihrde was ever his own, with little care or concern for the machinations of others, and with a booming laugh, he leapt from the cliff into the water. Thus the first waves came to the world's oceans, and they tore across the deep waters, creating a tumult that washed away islands and battered the coasts of the world. When Aihrde laughs, everyone pays for it, it seems. Aihrde swam through all the deeps, and he took a form that propelled him at terrific speeds. He cut channels in the bedrock, made rivers in the oceans. He explored all the dark places under the water. In places, he tore the firmament and let the fire of the elemental planes spill into the oceans, and watched as the fire and water battled one another. Aihrde laughed all the while, and when he did so, his mirth shook the waters and caused titanic waves that rolled to and fro across the world. He reveled in the water and made the oceans his own. He built his home there, channeling the water of the Odine to make a house with walls and roof. It was massive, sprawling for leagues and leagues under the sea. And in the dark and murky depths, it became a maze of thundering currents beneath the sea for any foolish enough to assail it. His hall bore no name until the time of the dwarves, and they called it the Green Halls. It was known as a place where no ship could trespass, for the tumultuous waters tortured the surface with massive waves that battered ships to splintered wrecks. Others saw Aihrde's work and came to the waters too, and they slipped under them and swam the depths. But he was always the first and the greatest of those to command the waters. It came to pass that Aihrde stood upon a large outcropping of rock, laughing as waves battered the land to pieces. But as he watched, a great light sprung up across the water and stretched for as far as his eye could see. Mesmerized, he watched it for a great while. In time, he realized that the light was a reflection of the heavens, and he looked up to see Aihrde, who brought light to the world in a broad curtain. He loved her then, for in her he saw a wondrous beauty and a joy that made all things cast gentle shadows. He dove into the waters and swam far out to sea, and called her to him with a horn he fashioned of shells. Aihrde heard the horn and saw Aihrde in the water below, and the sight of the ocean captivated her as well, for the waters, calmed by the mind of Aihrde, cast back a reflection of her light, and she saw herself for the first time, not as she saw herself, but as the Allfather saw her. Cast in the mold of Mordias, she was a woman born, shapely, with long silvered hair. She descended to the sea upon winds of her own making, and gently reached out to touch her reflection in the waters. But Aihrde had the better of her, and laughing, pulled a hand through the water and pulled her into the deep quiet. He pulled her down, drowning the light of the moon, but for her part, she cared not, and laughed at his mischief as she swam with him. He brought her to his green halls beneath the water, and for her amusement created all manner of creatures. Thus the fish, whales, and other beasts came to be. He made the merfolk in imitation of Aihrde and himself, and she placed the light of knowledge given to her by the Allfather in them, so they peopled the sea for many ages. In time, Aihrde called to Aihrde, for he needed her light, and her shape changed, as is told elsewhere. And Aihrde charged her to watch over her sister, and make sure the light fell upon the earth. And Aihrde followed her father's bidding. Aelor watched her race in the heavens and was much amused, and he saw her sister and was delighted. His mirth grew even greater when he saw storms brewing upon the surface of the water, caused by their madcap racing. He laughed, racing with them, and his joy shook the waters so that the oceans mirrored the storms of the air. But once in a while, he called to Aihrde with his horn of shell, seeking her to join him in the green halls. And she would come to him, for she loved him, and loved the sea as well. And the world would then stand in darkness, and the moon be but a shadow in the sky. I think we'll stop there for tonight for reading. I love the water chapters in Aihrde. Big fan of like Andoroth and the merfolk, even the fiction where Yurik and Ava encounter mermaids for the first time. Very, very cool. So I hope that was fun. We're continuing to kind of work through like the days before days. We can always jump to like future chapters if we want to talk about like the Winter Dark or the early kingdoms of man and dwarf or like any of that sort of stuff. But we kind of just been like working chronologically through it. We can always pivot to fiction too. It's been a while since we've actually read any fiction. It's been like Aihrde lore hour for I think months. Good news is you'll have time to think about it, because this is actually my last Tales of Aihrde of 2025. I'll be back in the new year, and we will be back on the 22nd for Ends Meet. So we'll see if Ren survives, but yeah, this is the last Aihrde stream until 2026. We'll all have another year around the sun next time I see you guys. Was looking through the Gods and the Codex during this reading. Do you like it? The Gods and Legends Codex, or do you mean the Gods in the Codex of Aihrde? Very cool. I think the Codex of Aihrde is my favorite book. It's going to be the Adventure Spellbook, don't get me wrong, but Codex of Aihrde is pretty great. Thank you all for joining. This was very, very fun. My last Paramore adventure ends for the year, ends this Friday, and then taking 3 weeks off. Oh, it hurts to walk away from a game and like give it a hiatus. It's like, oh, sucks. Thank you, Fosco. I appreciate you. He's so lawful, he strays into evil. Ooh, are we talking Corthane? Law is at least as bad as chaos and a lot less fun. Very fair. Very fair. Corthane. Yeah. I agree. I don't think that Corthane's, I don't know what it says in the book. I've only read the Andanuth. I have not read the Almanac and like seen the entries for the different gods in the Codex of Aihrde. It wouldn't surprise me to see Corthane labeled as good, but I don't think that Corthane is good. He actually really deeply, like, really permanently harmed everyone on the planet later in Aird's history. And I think it was a little uncalled for. I forget what happened. We'll get to it, I guess, because I don't remember now, but he like cursed everyone. And it was a little bit of an overreaction. Lawful neutral, maybe. I would say lawful. Like, if I had to pin the alignment on Corthane, I would probably say lawful neutral. Just full. I think that like morality is kind of like not a factor for Corthane. Is it a factor for Orndul? Maybe not.
What are their portfolios?
What are their portfolios? Corthane is like law and justice. Justice is pretty cool. Justice has a good bent to it, potentially. Orndul is, I guess, literally the god of evil. So I guess it matters a little bit for Orndul. But I think about, yeah, because he's not the god of chaos. God, I'm like thinking about like Mordias, Corthane, Orndul as like lawful, neutral chaos, and they're not like that. They're not good cookie cutters for alignments. But Corthane, I think, is pretty like morally removed, morally agnostic.
Yeah, just cares more about like law. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and I like.
The justice part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things should work out for people who are good is a nice thing to believe and enforce, I guess, if you're a god with.
And also, I mean, I guess like that takes us to like I mean, if you're pursuing justice, are you necessarily pursuing what is good, or are you pursuing what is fair?
That is precisely the thesis of my adventure, The Butcher of Blencolgo, coming potentially in the new year.
Let's go. Plug.
I'm not the only one. I feel like we need to have a beer or coffee one day. I think all of us need to gather for TrollCon and collectively get a beer or coffee or both. Justice cannot exist without morality. Ooh, interesting. Interesting thought. Is that true? In like my gut reaction is I agree with that. That makes sense to me. I feel like justice can be subjective. My personal definition of justice, the one that I'm like most the way that I'm used to thinking about justice is like it's people getting what they deserve. So that leaves a lot of room for interpretation. So, hey Johnny, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. I have a rum and coke right now. Ooh. My first bev ever was a Jack and Coke. Is Jack rum?
It's
Whiskey. I had no business drinking a Jack and Coke. I don't like whiskey or Coke, so it was bad. I was like, why does anyone drink? Why does anyone do this? This sucks. Is justice without morality simply vengeance? Is justice all that different from vengeance even? What's really the difference between justice and vengeance? I don't know. I feel like I always ask you guys really like open-ended, like dumb questions. So I'm sorry for that. Thank you for walking with me, and for chatting with me about this stuff. This is something that I think about sometimes, like justice versus vengeance. It kind of feels like justice is just legally endorsed vengeance. Sometimes. On occasion.
I mean,
I don't know what the line is. Do you want to come over and like hang?
No, because I'm also like working.
Do you want to move your chair a little closer? Okay. Nick is working.
I think, like, I mean, when you're talking about justice, like, there is some sort of like line. It is about what's fair, and I think vengeance is not really concerned about what's fair. It's about like catharsis. Yeah. Makes sense. Like justice is about reparation. Vengeance is about
catharsis. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're digging if you're digging a grave for revenge, dig two. True.
Let's go.
It relaxes me, but it helps me sleep. My party days are over, and it's just one drink, and that's it. That's nice. I can appreciate that. Corthane is a supreme deity of law, good, and reason, but for the utmost end. Yeah. According to justice, all must end. I would say of the two, ethics is more important in the realm of justice, as both are at the societal level as written. Yeah, that makes sense. I get, like... Who said trolls are deep thinkers? Who was that? Fosco. I feel like I'm just... What it more is like I'm stupid and don't know what words mean. And, like, the difference between, like... I don't know. Like... The forgiveness... justice, vengeance, like triangle, I think has always been maybe a little bit abstract to me, but thinking about it in the way of like vengeance is about catharsis and about like just kind of like I guess there's not really a better way to say it than that. It's just about catharsis. That makes sense to me.
I think what's hard about this discussion is like we're talking about a realm in which good isn't just like a subjective idea, it's a cosmological force.
Yeah.
There is like an axiomatic good, and
right.
It's not like...
It would be a lot simpler if everyone knew what good is.
Well, yeah, like if you can just even agree on it.
Yeah. What's been your favorite part of the Monday game? Oh, fuck. Hanging out with everyone. That is for sure my favorite part of the Monday game. Because, I don't know, I feel like when you're working remote, like, we all just kind of go into our hobbit holes and, like, start working. And, I don't know, I don't see Peter that often. I don't see Jeremy or Davis. I see Chuck and Steve, like, you know, maybe once a week or a couple times a week we'll have, like, a meeting about something. But, like... we don't really like hang out a lot, and so being able to like all get in a call together and like do the game, hanging out is just like my favorite part of it for sure. Thanks for asking, Johnny. Not to get away from the justice debate, but can you give us insider dirt on Barsoom? Dude, I wish. So we have like so many things in the hopper right now. Biggest thing coming up the pipeline is Castle Zagig. That is going to be like done and finished before we get started on Barsoom. But what I can say is we're developing like a full game that is like a siege engine game. So it's going to not be Castles and Crusades, but it'll be like compatible with Castles and Crusades. I really like that because I don't know. I do the same thing with Amazing Adventures where like it's the same game system with like slightly different rules. So basically it's a big game expansion. And so you just have one game that's like even bigger. So Barsoom will be like that. You won't be playing like as John Carter or anything like that. I think they're going to be like expanding the world and the monsters and like NPCs and stuff in it. And it's going to be like its own thing. I'm pretty stoked. We're pretty stoked about it. But we have like the Aihrde expansions and then Castle Zagig and also Adventure Spellbook, that too. And just like a bunch of other stuff like to get out of the way first. We're like digging our way to Barsoom. Very, very exciting though. I forget all the time that we have like the whole Edgar Rice Burroughs art chronology for sale on our website. Thank you for the summary. You're welcome. The very nondescript, vague details summary. My world is shattered. I picture the TLG crew getting together to BS with each other on Zoom every day. I think some of them do that. Jeremy has talked about like hopping on with Chuck, and sometimes they just like what's that? Body double? They like body. I don't know if that's still true. I heard about that at one point. Sometimes I wish that's how it was. But everyone's busy. I'm one of those people where I can't, like, type and pay attention to words that I'm writing or reading and then also be talking to someone. There's one exception for that, and it's on stream. And I don't know what part of my brain locks in and engages, and, like, both lobes are, like, working simultaneously. I would love to achieve that state outside of stream. But I don't know. It's tough. I think Steve has his hands full trying to wrangle a full staff of people that live all over the world. It's crazy. But we have a good time. What we do is like hang out in the like a big troll group chat, and that's pretty nice. So we're not totally on our own little islands. But how about we see about a raid? Potench. Who should we raid into? Oh, it's gotta be Stronghold. They came in and hung out. Also, your first Troll Den blog post. Oh, Johnny, thank you for the shout out. Hang on, let me link it. I forgot all about that in like all of the excitement that was going on this week. If you guys want to read my, I guess, second thing, if Blood and Briar was like my first thing, this blog post is kind of my second thing. It's about Bonnie Tyler and Jim Steinman, but really it's about me. I don't know, it's a little bit of a reflection on like working for the trolls, and what that has been like. Cause I don't know, hey, not super easy to start in the industry. You know, there's a lot of like background stuff kind of happening, and so I don't know, I think everything's kind of connected, and so it's kind of about that. Thank you, Kev. I really appreciate that. Thank you. We're gonna raid. We're gonna go into Stronghold D&D. They were in here earlier. But Stronghold D&D is a lovely channel. They were part of our Summer of Siege programming. Hopefully we see them again on this channel soon. They've done a couple little like actual plays on this channel, so maybe we'll see them again sometime. But they are lovely, lovely people over there, and they're playing through one of their campaigns. And I don't know what else to say about them other than that they just rock. They are very, very cool people, and their production is awesome. Tim fucking sets up like whole sets with like miniatures and like, you know, terrain and like buildings and like all that stuff. So it's a very, very fun actual play channel to watch. So toss them a follow, hang out for a second, and like chat in their chat if you have a second to do so. It makes people's days, their weeks, their months when channels do that, when we like raid in and then like hang out. That feeling carries me for like a month. So I'm gonna hang out, gonna be cool, and I won't see you next week for Tales of Aihrde, but I'll see you next Monday for Ends Meet. Fill out your bingo cards, and we will see you next week. Go in peace, make the words, do good. Thank you all. Happy holidays. See you very, very soon. Goodbye.